Hello everybody, welcome to Ready Steady Craft. We just had a panic. We just realised, me and Lou were gossiping away and it's 3:02. So welcome, thank you for joining us. I better check we're live, hadn't I? I usually do that while the picture's up and you're waiting, but I thought, you're late. You wanna just sort of get in straight away. Let's see. Let's have a little look on Craft World and see if we are live and make sure that you can all see us okay. Should be on both Facebook and on YouTube. There we go. We are, let's turn my voice down so you can't hear me. We are live on, Lou, we're live on Facebook. And, hey, I've got Lou with us in the background. We'll go see her in just a second. And there we go. We're on YouTube as well. It's all good. It's all good. It's just been one of them days. It's been rushing here, there and everywhere. But we have got an exciting hour. I say an hour. I don't know how long it's going to take because neither Lou or I have had a huge amount of time to prepare anything, which is kind of how we like it, isn't it? It's kind of what we like to do. Just get thrown in at the deep end with some products and say, make something. Go ahead. Just do something off the top of your head. We haven't got the lovely Natalie with us today. She is in the background, stepping back so that the gorgeous Lou with us can take over instead. Now, Lou is so desperate to get crafting. She's already got her camera on her desk waiting. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to Lou anyway, and we're going to ask her to talk through, well, first of all, say hello, but then talk through what she thinks she might do maybe today. So, hi, Lou, we've got hands.
Ooh, do you know? Like I say, mad mate, you're dead busy, we're dead busy, but this is sort of like, I know it's work, but it's not work.
It's not work.
I adore, sorry, my fingers are still inky from yesterday, but we don't care, we're all crafters. I adore this sewing line you've got, the text, I know I love the textures, I never get the names right, but I think this is called Stitching Time.
Yes, it is.
Adore it. I love the fact that the insides can be made from baubles.
Yes, that's right, yeah. Or balloons.
Or balloons. I love the idea of paper piecing, but these are genius. These are genius because I'm into my stitching at the moment and I can see these used for so many different ways, layering it up. They're really, really very, very inspiring for me. And these bits, because I'm doing my moodling and it's just all of this creation.
And you know what's funny is all those bits you've die cut. I mean, I left you at about 25 to 3 and came back at 5 to 3 and you'd done all that.
yeah, because I thought that I just picked up these and I was like, yep. And then I thought, oh wow, that. And I must admit, these lend themselves to all my mixed media. So I don't even see them as just stitching, but I see it as scrim, I see it as fabric, I see it as, this is genius. I love how fine it is, good paper piece. I love the idea of being able to draw in it. There's so many options and things you can do with it. I cut about 900 pages.
I am so pleased that you're liking it. So you're going with the Stitching Time collection, which is the second from the last collection that was launched.
Love it.
I think that was the 5th one. I have to keep reminding myself how many there's been.
Well, that's popular, you see.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. I'm going to just come back and say hello to a few people and then we'll come back and be crafting, okay?
Yay.
She's still busy beavering, getting ready.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear her in the back. Yeah. Right, let's say hello to a few people. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Hello to Carol Lewis. She says hello again. Yes, I saw you at I didn't see you as such. It would have been a pleasure to see you at 11 a.m. over on Craft Stash Live with the What's Hot. Hello to Ella as well. Hi to Christine. She says hi to Lou and Lou. Hello to Michaela. Hi to you as well. Michaela actually doesn't live that far from me. I believe, I might be wrong. You're the right Michaela who lives up in Lowestoft. Is that correct? I'm not going to give your address away, I promise, but I think I've sent a prize out to you and think, oh, you're only about an hour from me. It's unusual for anyone to be over this part of the country. We're kind of few and far between over here. Hello to Marie as well. You're not in the UK, are you, Marie? Hello to good evening to Lou ×2. That's so much easier, isn't it? So I'm going to show you what I'm doing as well. So I'm going to put on the screen here for you all the 2 screens. So we've got half of Lou's desk and half of mine. We're both using textures. we want to be really relaxed about this because there's quite a lot of textures products, and it was a case of Lou's really busy. She's obviously had her new collection launch. Was that end of last week? I can't remember when it was.
Yeah, it was last week. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I've been at the crafts store all day yesterday as well. So, but this is creativity, so it's nice. It's relaxing time.
Yeah, I hope it's sit back and relax. So you've been super busy. I've obviously been busy. Probably not as busy as Lou, but I feel like it. So yeah, we're just going to have a play, aren't we? No rules today. Have a play, and hopefully we can inspire some of you to do something. Now we have quite different styles as well, which is interesting. I'm going to be using the camera die set. I honestly, okay, I say this every week, but I can wholeheartedly say I have nothing prepared except for a base. Now this base has actually, strangely enough, come from a Simply Made Crafts base, but I'm going to do a box frame, and this is the only bit that I've prepared so far, is cut out the two parts for the box frame and then maybe put the camera inside it. But that's about as far as I've got, which I feel bad for everybody that I've not prepared more, but do you know what? You get to see that creative process, hopefully, and see how it goes.
Good. I think it's good because sometimes people at home, they might be stuck for an idea or stuck with what to do, and seeing something from scratch, I think that's a good idea.
Exactly.
I appreciate it, I must admit.
Yeah,
so,
I think very often everything's so prepared, you miss out on the little tips and tricks, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Even things like, oh, I inked around the edge of this already, and I think, well, how did you ink around the edge?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've never done this, so it's really exciting. So I'm really happy I do. So what do we do? Do we just start, or is
just
it
carry on? Yeah, just start crafting. So obviously I control all the stream and everything, so Lou can't see what I can see, which is our two screens split in half. We've got Lou's desk over on the right and mine over on the left. Lou, if you're doing anything really sort of intricate, or you really want to show us something big that doesn't sort of fit in that small area, give me a shout and I'll let everybody see just your desk for a little while. Brilliant. We just play. It's really relaxed here.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it. We do it at the same time.
There's a lot of dies in this collection, isn't there? There's a lot of dies.
There is a lot of dies.
And there's a real mixture of dies. I really like the fact that these dies could be, these stamps as well, they just could be used like the dies for everything else. There's just nothing that you could say that's just for this.
Yeah. I like everything to sort of have more than one use.
In this day and age, there's not really. We find it really, really bad if we don't do that, because of the way situations are. We need to make sure that we're getting value for money. Absolutely, 100%. I love paper piecing with these, and when I do it, I make loads of different ones. So when I mean that, I cut a full page out, so that when I'm looking at colour schemes, I can say, oh right, I like that colour and that colour, or right, that colour. Because they always come in handy, because at the end of it, if you just chop that little bit off, it's still a circle, so you've got mounts and all sorts. Yeah, exactly. So the versatility of that die set was even more than I expected it to be in the beginning. I don't know what I've done here. I'm gluing. I can see what I've done. I've used hot glue, thinking I'm going to use hot glue because it's going to be super quick to put together and nice and secure, but that's only okay if you actually put it in the right place. So what's your idea? You're going to do the box camera? I'm going to do a box frame. I really don't know much more than that, which is really unorganised for me. I've usually at least sort of got an idea, and I have no idea today except use that camera die. So we'll just have to see where it goes. I might surprise myself. Occasionally I do Ready Steady Craft. I'm sure Natalie will say the same some weeks when she does it. We just we're not overly happy with what we've created in the end, but we've had fun doing it. And then other times we get really surprised that we love what we've made. So I think that's really important, that people realise that everything we do doesn't turn out amazing like that. That things that we do, exactly like everybody else, it's like hit and miss sometimes. You can have 10
Exactly.
ideas and only one of them you like. So I think that's important. People see that. Because I get people asking me, well, how do you do it so easy? Well, actually,
It's planned, isn't it?
sometimes I don't like it. I have to walk away and leave it and then go back to it. And then I like it.
Yeah, and a lot of what people see on the TV, for example, is pre-planned, and you've tried and tested and made sure everything's going to work and what it's going to look like. Not always, but yeah.
I'll tell you what though, there's a lot more to it. I get that a lot. People say to me, it looks like I'm winging it, and I actually don't. And that's the crazy bit. I really don't. I plan so much of it that I think people get a little bit surprised when they see the books and copious amounts of writing that I do. But I plan so that I've got an idea of where I'm going, but I don't plan an outcome.
Yes, yeah, I get that.
It could change, because we both know, don't we, that when we do that, it's like, how can I put it, at a moment's notice. You can say, could you show us how to use this? And you're like, well, yeah, all right.
Oh yeah,
like, wow.
I mean, the presenters on the shows, sometimes you're just like, no, don't ask me to do that. But they do.
I'm loving these. Really loving these. All I'm doing is strengthening up some of these, and I'm thinking, do I want the craft card? Because I just think it looks so lovely with the craft card.
Yeah.
Regardless of.
That's funny, because I'm using craft as well. So I've used craft for my base. I
really
love
lovely.
this. Lou, I don't know, you've seen these, I think, because you did the steampunk collection with me, didn't you?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Am I right in thinking? So this paper has come from this. I have to hold it up, everybody, to the screen so Lou can see it, because she's, bless her, she's having to look at my face the whole hour. That's all she can see.
It is a treasure to look at your face.
Oh, thank you. I thought you meant the paper.
That's nice as well. Yeah, that's nice as well. So I'm choosing. Now I've been faffing for ages, but I've chosen to do the craft in the back and glue the white on, only because it gives it a little bit more strength. Not because I don't like the colour. I just like the contrast, and I like the strength of the dark brown.
Nice.
I don't want it to look like wood, but give it an idea of it being wooden.
Yeah.
This is a really nice die. Did you draw this computer or?
Yeah, so it's quite a simple shape, really, isn't it? So I designed that myself. Sometimes when I've got an idea, but it's a bit complicated, sometimes I can ask the graphic designers at Practical Publishing to give me a hand. But no, this one I did do myself. So.
Do you prefer drawing?
Pardon?
I know you're an amazing drawing illustrator and stuff, but do you enjoy drawing freehand, or do you like using your computer when you're doing stamps?
No, I love freehand. I mean, pencil to paper, you just can't beat it, I don't think.
Can't. I agree with you.
It's so much. Oh, I've put this in and it's too small, and I need to try and get it out now.
Well, I've often sort of had conversations about this with the people at Studio Light, because they're very good with me. I love them to bits.
Yeah.
And they say to me, "Oh, can you redraw that by hand?" And it's just, I don't know. It's so much. You can just see it. It's
yes.
So much different by hand. It just makes it look different, and I think. You can tell on the.
I do understand that if you're doing something. Do you know what? I'm going to leave that glue there. I don't want to glue that yet. I want to add some colour first. I do understand that if you're drawing something and you're copying and pasting, in building a pattern, for example, digitally, it is so much easier on a computer to get everything perfect and lined up and such. But if you don't have to do things like that, and you're just doing, I don't know, a floral bouquet or something, absolutely, that's where your pencil and paper just come so much quicker and nicer.
It's more personal, and it's like little quirky bit. I'm terrible for not joining up my dots, so if I draw a circle, I always leave an edge on it. And you can't make a stamp out of that, so I have to be slower and more methodical with it. And I'm learning because I'm quite a speedy crafter and speedy drawer. But yeah, I'm learning lots of things now about the other side of it, whereas I'm just used to drawing like freehand and stuff. But yeah, I can't quite get the grasp of computer work because I want to dive in with a pencil and rub it out, and you can't. And it's
it takes longer to go and switch the tool you're using on the computer. I've just popped that in the ink paint.
Absolutely.
It takes longer to find your eraser tool and use it than it does to grab a pencil eraser.
It's true, that. It's true. It's really true. You're like, in the end of it, you're like, oh, crying out loud.
Yeah.
What I'm doing now is, I don't know what colour it is because I'll have to look on the bottom because I've mixed all these up. I think antique linen. I'm just using an antique linen with your lovely brocade stamp. It's not brocade, obviously, but I just love the idea of all this intricacy with this, you know, the layers of it. I just think you could do like lots of dark and light layers and just enhance it. And I just think if you glaze this and then put it through like it's sort of like what's it called, glossy accents but finer, and then crunched it up and then put it back through your die cutting machine without anything, it flattens it but creases all the glossy accents. It looked amazing. It looked like hand dyed crinkled linen.
I never thought about that. I mean, I was just little sneak peek, I was just filming a video on heat embossing ready for Craft World. Quite an in-depth thing, and I was just I mentioned that if you heat emboss an area and then put it in the freezer, you can take it out and crack it while it's not flexible, while it's frozen. And that kind of reminds me a bit of that, actually. Coincidentally.
It's I think it's based on that. And it's really similar to that, but you put it back through your roller to get it straight. Now what I'm doing is, I am not on the edge of this stamp, I don't want a straight edge. Not that I don't like it, it's just I don't want a straight edge on this. Now you can do one or two things. You can make a mask with a fine piece of paper, or I'll just show you what I mean. Just, not that. This paper that I'm using, the brown one, is quite fine, and I always feel better if I'm using a finer paper when I'm doing beautiful, intricate things like this, because I don't care what machine it is, you're going to have your hot spots, and I always like to make sure that that when I'm doing this, I do finer paper, and then I'm going to get a better cut. So it's just my little foible. There's two ways of doing this. You can do like a ripped edge like that with fine paper, so that you've not got as much of a reach when you're cutting down the stamp, or just not put an edge on that. And I just like hit on this. It doesn't really matter because it's in the background. Perfect.
Wonderful. There's some comments I've seen them coming through. I want to just say, I'm going to kill two birds with one stone here, actually. This is just me being completely selfish because I'm so busy today. The lovely Marta has commented, and I can't see, actually. I think you just sort of said hello. Oh, no, just popping in for a second. Hopefully, Marta, you're still with us, because, everybody, Marta should be with me next week, I believe. I think that's correct. Lovely. For Ready Steady Craft. But everybody, what would you like me and Marta to do? Is there a colourway? Is there a theme? Is there a particular product type you'd like us to both use? Because Marta, lovely Marta, has kicked me up the backside today, emailed me and said, or messaged me and said, what are we going to be doing next week? And I haven't replied yet because I've been so busy. So this is me killing two birds with one stone and saying, everybody, what would you like? And Marta, listen to the comments. There's your answer. And secondly, sorry, I can do this at the same time, can't I? Because you can hear me over my heat gun now. Secondly, I did see, right, so Natalie has said, how long does it take you both to come up with a range from concept to on sale? Blimey. Okay, so do you want me to do that first, Lou? And then Lou, you do yours, because we're different companies.
No problem.
Okay, so with mine, I am now in the process of finishing off designs for next spring-summer, because we actually have Chinese New Year, which comes up, and a lot needs to happen whilst China closes down for a month. So we try to get well in advance of collections. So things that I designed 6 months ago are now starting to appear. So it actually takes me a day or two to put together like a mood board, a concept board for the designers. Then we have numerous meetings about over video call, obviously at the moment, about the collection, what will be included, what will not be, how things will work, what size they'll be, things like that. Then the graphic designers have to do their thing, which can take anything from a few days to a couple of weeks, depending on how much information they've got. And then it's a waiting game, really. Once we get the products back from wherever they're being made, I have some of them made in the UK, some of them made in China, various other places. Once the whole collection's back, it gets sent out to me, and I usually then have a couple of weeks to play with it before it goes on sale on Craft Stash and on the Craft Store. Lou, is yours very similar?
Yeah, I start drawing. I constantly draw all the time. And when I draw, I just sort of go for it and just think, right, I really like that. And sometimes I'm in the mood to draw certain things. So I start drawing. I could start drawing and I produce all my drawings in a week. And then I'm sending them over to one of the designers who I work with. And she'll take a couple of weeks to do her stuff. Now, I'm quite, you get some designers who do less and some designers who do more.
Yeah.
Some, like me, I do the majority of it now and less designer work, which is, it's only because I'm quite happy to do it and I'm pretty fast. But you'll get some people who can't do that, which is fair enough. So I reckon I've now done my next probably till the mid of next year, all the ranges for that, and they're in production because, as you say, all these places shut down, different places for different products. So I reckon my Moodling that's just come out, I sent that away probably at Christmas
last year.
Yeah, maybe a bit earlier.
Yeah.
And then it's took this time to do it.
It does take a long time, doesn't it? I don't think it's apparent when we are on the TV or here not how much work. I think people appreciate there's a lot of work goes into it, but how much time it's taken. Very often, once I've got a collection being released, I've virtually forgotten what I did, what was included in that collection. Should I do a bit of explaining what I'm actually doing? So I've got my paper and it's going to go in my shadow box, but I thought I want to darken the frame on the outside. So I'm going to I've gone over with an acrylic paint, and this is like a yellow ochre. I never know if I'm saying that right. Ochre? I don't know. Ochre. So you don't pronounce the R in it?
No.
This is the art teacher.
It's OCHRE.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's the okra, which is the vegetable.
Is that where I've got it from?
Yeah, there's a vegetable okra. So I think that's how it's pronounced, but yeah, that's a vegetable.
So who else?
All I'm doing is just loving and playing. So I'm not
just
saying
playing. This is a bit just getting together, isn't it, and having a coffee and a natter and a play.
When we was last down at Craft Store, we see each other at Craft Stash as well. What was really nice was we went for a walk and it was lovely, and we could just have a chat, and we just, it was really, really nice. And otherwise, it's really hard to sort of craft with like-minded people. Seriously, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. It was really nice because where the craft store is a gorgeous village, so pretty. We both picked out. We're going to have the same colour front door, aren't we?
Yes. It was so nice, lovely day, just to walk around and talk. We talked about collections. We talked about stuff and craft, but it wasn't the main element. It was just us enjoying everything. So I really loved it. I really loved it.
It was lovely.
You don't get a chance to do that because it's all in the craft store. It's all work.
Absolutely. So I think
it's all the stuff, isn't it? All the quarantines and stuff.
Yeah. So we actually. I didn't get to share a room with you, did I? I had to share with John Lockwood.
That's right. Yeah.
Share not a dressing room, a green room. Mind you, he did get dressed in there, but that's a whole nother story. So just to explain what I'm doing, everybody, sorry, I haven't told you, I've just been merrily crafting along. So I've gone over with yellow paint. I've taken my resist paste. I think it last time I looked, it was out of stock on Craft Stash. I'm hoping to get it in really soon because I use it a lot. If you don't have it, the equivalent is, which isn't as good, but it will work, is like your Vaseline or your petroleum jelly. And I've just brushed it.
What did you say? What's it called?
Vaseline, petroleum jelly.
Oh, right. No, what was that product you just shown then?
Oh, sorry. Andy Skinner Resist Paste from Cosmic Shimmer.
Oh,
right.
Oh,
sorry. I'm doing that. There you go, Lou.
Oh, brilliant.
It's amazing stuff.
I didn't know about that. That's something. So it's like the Vaseline Resist.
Yes, very similar. And then what I'm going to do is I've gone out around the edges with that. I've brushed it around the edges and just very lightly on the corners. And I'm now brushing black acrylic paint. It needs to be a water-based paint. And I'm brushing that over the top of all of my yellow. And then I'll dry it again. So my yellow's dry. And then I'm spending more time on the frame than using the camera die, so I apologise everyone if we run out of time, but it is what it is. Crafting takes however long it takes, doesn't it?
And I know what I do. The majority of time when I'm doing my bits like this is it's never finished then. I go away and then the next couple of days later I look at it again and redraw on it and you're like, wow. And I think if you haven't got time to do that, it really spoils it because that all adds to the finished bit. I never sort of finish it all in one go. You tend to see me sort of pick stuff up and draw on it again or doodle or do something because it's just finished.
This is why I say to people...
and I don't like to think it's finished all at once. It isn't for me anyway.
No. And I do try and say to people, if you're not happy with the project or where it's going, don't throw it away. Set it aside. Look at it in a couple of days or in a week or however long when you've got a different mindset on it and just see if there's something different you can do. It might just mean ripping a piece off and starting that again.
Yeah.
Whatever
it is. And then look, it's like this now. Look at your designs with different eyes. Don't look at them how they've been given to you. Look at them about suiting your design. So this piece here, I really love it, but it doesn't do what I want it to do if I left it square.
Right.
But, but you've not designed it just to be less square. You've designed it for me to work. So if I show you what I mean, it's like just here, we've got this wonderful shape. Now, I want this to be part of my layers, but I don't want it to look... If I leave these bits hanging out, it looks more like a spaceship. So I don't want that. So I want it to look more horrible. So cut it up, mess around with it, see what you get, and work with it that way. And then, even then you sort of surprise yourself and go, you see something else when you're doing it, you think, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
And what that mistake happened. And then you make out that it was a mistake, that it was all planned and that everything's cool, and it's not. And but I think that's the best way. You have to relax all the time, don't you?
Oh, of course.
So I don't relax sometimes, I don't a lot. But that pattern, it just all works. And I've not even thought about how much I can put on. See now, look at that, it looks mad, doesn't it? But if I hadn't done that, I'd have chopped it all up and tried to fit it on, whereas I'm making it fit this, rather than me trying to... So,
I'm still listening, sorry, I'm watching paint dry, literally watching paint dry.
It's cool, I think that's quite entertaining sometimes. I had that product on the other day, yesterday, it's great, and it was moss and grass paint.
Oh,
My
nice.
goodness me. It pops up. Oh, it's brilliant. It's like, I remember the first time seeing you know, embossing. I was mesmerised.
Oh
So that's what
yeah,
it's like. And it was
that's
all puffed up. It was brilliant.
that's what made me kind of just look into card making. I was in a shop and I saw heat embossing happening, and I thought,
That was
wow, what's that? Okay, so
That's
now,
exactly what happened to me.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
funny, isn't it? I mean, there's
I
lots
saw
more
a lady
techniques
doing it in a
now.
garden centre, and I went, right.
Mm.
And there weren't that many colours.
There wasn't then, but it was still amazing. So look at this. What I can do now is just a dry tissue, and I can just rub back where that resist paste, where I put it on the edge, and just taking that back.
That's beautiful.
And it's lifting up the black and leaving the yellow behind. So it's all the paint's dry, but it won't stick where that resist was.
It's
So
a resist, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got a nice distressed sort of wood look then, almost. There we go. Perfect.
You find that you forget a lot of it though, you know, and then
The
you
basic
forget
techniques, do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to go back to them, don't you, and think, oh, I forgot about that. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yep. 100% all the time. And it's lovely. So they're silly little things. Oh God, I can't even think of any now. But yes.
I did one the other day that I've not done for ages, and it was using like baby wipes, and it was like, it's not my idea at all. You know, it's been used for years, but it's sort of like bringing it back. You're like, oh, I forgot about the effect of that, and forgot about the effect of that. And I just thought, we're all prone to doing that.
Yeah.
We get onto the next biggest thing and then forget about the thing we did before.
We do, and then
it's like you need to get a big bag of tools. It's like getting the bottom tools out of your big bag.
Yeah, and it's surprising, isn't it, how we can possibly say we've lost our mojo when we've got all of these techniques to go back and rediscover. But we do, we just forget about them.
All the products, not just technique, products.
Yeah.
We've got the products to do it all. It's like shrink plastic. I got some out the other day and I had a great time.
Well,
and I forgot all about it, shrink plastic, and I had great fun. But I must admit, the shrink plastic that I bought to use, I had in my head to use it one way, and the way I used it now was very, very different to what I had planned, what I bought it for. And it just shows you how you grow.
You do, you develop, don't you?
Yeah, how your styles differ. You know, one time it would have been this, another time it would have been this, and you're like, wow, I've really changed in my approach and my ideas and stuff. I love this and paper piecing this. I just like the idea of being able to put little bits in. I've gone 3D with this one. I think I might move it a bit though.
It's looking nice, looking good. Sorry, I've just sort of ignored all the comments. Me and Lou are just getting really engrossed. Look, I keep getting messy fingers, and everyone knows I love my mess. Let's have a look at these comments. So, Kathy, I have a question about your giveaways. Do you have to be in the UK to win? No, absolutely you don't. So, if you're talking about the Craft Stash giveaways on the lives, Kathy, then by all means you can enter from anywhere in the world. Marie, where are you? You're in? Oh, Marie, are you in Australia? I can't remember where you are, but I know you've won from us before, and not in the UK.
That's brilliant, that. And then, you know, it's inclusive. That's brilliant.
Oh, and we have changed the way that Craft Stash are doing their deliveries now. So where you, maybe if you're in Europe, for example, you didn't get the option of free delivery, or you used to have to spend a lot of money to get the free delivery. We have now changed our shipping partner, and there is a lower threshold for free deliveries across many more countries.
Wow.
Someone, I think it was on Friday, someone was writing to say they've just managed to get free shipping to Australia. So I don't know how much you have to spend there, but you know, it's possible. I'm looking at this, and I was going to have it on the side, but now I quite like it that way. I
do that a lot.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I do that a lot. I look at it one way. Well, no, I don't look at it one way. That's a fib. I make it one way.
Yes.
And then look at it in a different way. What I'm doing with this is, you know, you're wonderful. It's like a brocade. It's beautiful. This is so handy, guys. If you're gonna buy anything from the show, buy it all if you can. Obviously, no, that's daft me saying that, but this is stunning for everything. If I could just show it you. I know my camera's fixed, I'm having lots of issues with mine, but can you see that? Look at that.
Let me just put it to your, so you're in the main camera. Whoop, just flipped you around. You just went a bit spinny there for some reason, but yeah, you're there.
Look at that. It's stunning. So what I've done, I'll just turn it over to show you, is I've got the pattern pieces from here. Because I was going to do 3. I won't have time to do 3 today, but I will do 3. And I've put everything that I like about stitching, but I've turned that over and I've stuck those pieces to the back of this.
Right.
So that when I cut it out, that pattern will be in the square,
that's
in
cool.
the hexagon. So, yeah, there's loads of things you can do. I mean, I've got the stamps here. This is very impressive, this. I really like it.
I'm
really,
glad.
Really like it. And I can see me using this for all my mixed media stuff, not just sets. I can really see it being used. Because these, I'd sit for hours just sticking these on.
Just playing.
I would.
Let me put everybody
I
back.
just like the idea that they match like this, and I can make my own sort of, if you see my own pattern coming off it now with different colours.
Yeah.
And if you stick to the same colours, then it's never going to go wrong. It's
No.
when you start introducing like different colours than what you've got in the main body of your work.
Mm-hmm.
The premise that we used to work on is, I don't know if you had this as well, because every art teacher's different and every student's different, but it used to be 60, 30, 40. So 60% of your main body colour, 30% of an accent colour, and then 10% of your pop colour.
Yeah, and like your contrast.
It works about right that. So if you're doing that and you're doing like a nice aqua colour and all this, and then you put a pop of orange in, that's great. But if you just then sling a bit of red in, and it doesn't look right, that's the reason.
Yeah.
It's because look at that.
That's pretty, isn't it? I like that. I like that a lot. I've started building up my camera. I sounded very Suffolk then. My camera. I've basically, so the dies, if you've not seen them, well, they're on here, look. We've got all the dies there. Let me just get the actual metal dies. They're on a sheet, but I've dumped loads of things on top of them because, tidy crafter, I always say I am. Let's lift this up and show everybody. Here you go. So these are the dies. Let's sort them out a little bit. So you've essentially got everything you need to build up various different styles of camera. There's lots of different bits. So you wouldn't use absolutely everything on one camera. So you might just use this and this, or you might use this, and this bit, so you can play around with different combinations. So I've cut some pieces out and layered them up, but I'm going to colour them. I was going to use paint, but I'm getting really low on my inks, I was going to use paints, but I haven't got quite the right blue, because in here we've actually got a blue. I've only got, in my paints in front of me, I've got teals, and that actually under the camera looks identical. That is a green teal. I'm not sure how everyone else is seeing that. On my screen it looked blue, so I've got my blue textures ink here, and I'm gonna colour this, but I've got some gold cardstock there, and I'm hoping that gold will still resist a little bit of it. So a few drops onto my mat. Don't need much more than that. Let me just see. Bye, Marta. I hope you have a lovely day. Lou, I will let you know later what we're going to do. Looks like a lot of people might be voting for a masculine theme next week. That'll be interesting. I'm just going to pop over to YouTube and say hello. Delcy said interactive card for men next week. Karen loves the colour that I've used, the yellow colour there. Emma, you can't see. Does it keep? I love that. Sorry. I love that noise. Emma can't see. It keeps dropping out. I hope that's. I hope it's sorted now, Emma. I don't know if anyone else is having any problems with it rebooting and things today. Fingers crossed not. I haven't got some yogurt. I've got some water there, and I need a brush. So I just stood up. So I don't know if you noticed, Lou's. Is that your phone, Lou?
Yeah. Sorry.
I know. I like that noise because I'm a massive fan.
I thought I'd done everything before. You know, like going in the studio, it's the same, innit? You turn it all off and you're
Yep.
like, no, I forgot to do that.
Every single time. There's always something that gets forgotten.
But you have to go into aeroplane mode when you go in there.
Oh, I don't take it in because
Well, I've learnt my lesson. I don't know.
I mean, everybody knows that I used to work for Create and Craft before I went to the craft store. And there was one time I went into the studio there. I had turned my phone on silent and everything else, but I'd also set myself, at some point, I'd set myself an alarm to remind me that I needed to go in and set up for my show. I must have been having a little nap or something, because I wouldn't usually set an alarm. But when your phone's on silent and when your phone's in airplane mode, your alarm will still sound.
Yeah.
And it did, and it was very loud, and they were live. So, lesson learned.
Well, sometimes, it all depends, doesn't it? Sometimes you can get away with it because you think nobody heard it.
Yeah, no, this was loud.
Or nobody's into hear it. And then another time you're like, oh, everybody was there. Everybody, and you're like, nobody missed that. Everybody saw it, and you're like, no.
I'm just changing the subject. I'm really pleased with this because what's happening is the craft card stock for the base is absorbing the ink. Obviously, I've got varying strengths, varying concentrations of ink on there, so I'm getting some mottled colour. But like that gold in many places has resisted. It was a gold or shimmery sort of, not quite a mirror card, but it had a bit of a finish to it. And that has resisted a lot of the ink, so it's still showing through okay. So
I am loving this because I am doing what I adore, and that is fiddling.
Well,
I'm building up my own patchwork, and I love it.
Everybody's saying like next week they would love to see masculine projects. Lou, what's your tip for masculine cards? Have you got like a go-to for them?
Well, I think the things I like about anything that's masculine, and it doesn't have to be. I don't always call them masculine. I like to call them more industrial. Looking, because masculine seems to be just for males, and I'm quite a masculine sort of like. I don't. Hopefully, I don't look too much like a man.
I don't mean
it like that. What I mean is, I'm quite masculine in my approach to, like, I'm not neat, not tidy. But I think the two colours that you can always rely on are blue and brown together.
Yes.
And I think they work so well because they're just, you can make them either or. You can make them chic and grungy, or masculine and sort of almost masculine, but with like an edge, and because there's almost like a steampunk, but there's also an edge where it's like it's a bit more.
Here you go, Lou. I'm going to hold this up to you first. So I did this yesterday in a craft group. Can you see that?
Beautiful.
So that's your blue and your brown. I'll hold it down for everyone else to see. I did put it on my social media pages, so you'll have seen it. But yeah, blue and brown. You can make it. It looks quite feminine, although it's got the industrial elements to it and the metal pieces and the rust and everything. It can still look, like you say, quite feminine, depending on what you tie it with.
Absolutely, and that's the nice thing I like about it. You don't have to, and that's it. It's quite hard to put a label on things and say this is this and this is for this, because nowadays I like everything to be inclusive, so it doesn't really matter. But it's just if you enjoy doing it and you like a certain thing. It's like, I like grungy stuff.
Absolutely.
I don't feel I'm a neat enough person. I'd love to be neat. I watch these people when they're neat and I go, why can't I be like that? And then I look at mine and it's all over, and yet they sometimes say to me, oh, I wish I weren't so neat. So you're never going to win.
Isn't it funny how... I think it's funny how a lot of us want to craft like someone else, and yet other people want to craft like us. It's just
I just take some of these inks now, because I think what is apparent on mine, even though I've got the black, the brown and the colours in the background, that these are way too white and stark. So I think now that I need to add either some of the stamping on it, I could put the little hearts on it and all the little stitching time, or even bits of text on it, but also this to bring it into the background. So you know, pick up areas and maybe, let me think, you know, pick up areas of the stamps that you're using and don't just use them for the whole stamp, use little parts of them. You've seen it do them, but it's just a case of taking the edge off something by bending it over, and there you go, it's much better now.
Lovely.
And it takes that edge off it, doesn't it? Sometimes it's a bit white's beautiful, but it's a bit barren, it's a bit sharp, that's the word.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I'm just gonna.
My words out working today probably offended everybody in the
I'd
room.
imagine you're tired, Lou. You haven't offended anyone, but I'd imagine you're quite tired after the few days you've had.
I tell you, I really enjoyed it because 6 hours is a long time, but I'm so better carrying on working. If I sit down and I get like I need a snooze. So when I was working full stop, it was like brilliant. Yeah. But yeah, 6 hours is a bit too much, I must admit. But here, all I'm doing is I'm using the inks that I've used on the distress inks, which is, I think this one's Vintage Photo, and because I've used it in the background, this card I'm using is not made for watercolouring, so I don't get much of a reaction, but that's actually what I want. I don't want it to be too reactive, because I don't want to lose the images, because you've got a beautiful stamping background. This lacy one is gorgeous.
Oh yeah, I like the dress pattern one, is probably my favourite stamp of that collection.
Well, that's what I've used straight away.
Yeah,
first one I used, because I love it in the background.
So I've built up my camera to a point, as far as I'm going to build it. At the moment, I'm going to probably go in and add some embellishments, but I'm going to pop it on my card first and start thinking about what else. I say card, it's not a card, it's a bit of a shadow box, a bit of a sort of mixed media-ish.
Where you see we're conditioned. We're conditioned to use the word card.
Oh yeah, just to say, do cards, do lots of cards.
Cards, yeah.
It's quite funny because sometimes producers will kind of ring or email and they'll say, so what cards are you going to, or how many cards are you going to be making? It's like, I might not do cards. I might want to do something else.
I think some of them just email me and say, what mess are you making? And
yeah. How long will you need to tidy up this week?
Yeah. I do tidy up pretty good like that, but yeah, you can see the look on the faces when oh no. Now I am really happy with that, because what I've done is I've left these white. I'm going to tame them down, but the white pieces I put on have tamed right down now, and I really like that because it makes it interesting that you've got to see the layers, and you look at the layers from either way, and it's like, oh, they're all layered. I like that. It's better than the stark white. It was too white.
Right, you're happy with that? Happier with that?
Yeah, much happier. And I'm just going to put the black on it.
Oh
my goodness me, look at time.
I know, it doesn't matter. I don't know if I'm going to finish this. What I might do is exactly what you said, Lou. I might add some bits and then go away, because I don't know what I want to put as words on it yet.
Don't you find though, that's the bit, when you rush it, it spoils it, because you just added to it because you've got to. And not because you've thought about it, because we have to finish, and you're like, oh, I'll just sling that on, and you're like, no, give me, sometimes when you put a picture of it later on and you show people what you've done after the show or after something, you're like, I really like that. But at the time, it's not what you need.
Totally get that. We've got a couple of comments. So Carol has said that we're now in her craft room. Don't look at the mess. She's attempting her weekly tidy up whilst watching, but not much tidying being done. Oh, I can't tidy up. I have to do it on a day-to-day basis. If I do a big tidy, a big sort out, I end up playing with things and it doesn't get done. So I have to do it on a daily basis.
I'm now in the process of downsizing, and I've got a lot of people who have charities that are gaining a lot of stuff, because I've not got storage. So, but yeah, and it's got to the point now where it's ridiculous. I can't get rid of the room.
extremely fortunate that I've got the studio as well as my house. So I've got a nice big desk at home, but then I've got the studio here, and I've slowly started actually moving everything over to the studio. I mean, I love to get up in the morning and just go to my desk in my pajamas, but it was becoming very difficult to have all my inks in two places, you know, all the expensive things like your machines and your distress inks and that, all your things that you can't have two of. You can't have them in two places, and I can't keep moving them between the two. So I've decided the studio here is where I work, so everything's kind of over here now. I've got a few bits at home if I desperately need to make a card. Excuse me, I've got enough at home. But there was another question. So Natalie has said, what is your favourite thing you've made recently? She made a quilt and she doesn't want to give it away in the end. Don't give it away, Nat. Don't give it away. Just say it didn't work.
Just say it's the wrong colour.
No, it was a complete disaster. You can't have that. I'll buy you a quilt and keep it. It's fine. Not an issue.
I think mine was one of it was the very first moodling thing. I did it about years and years and years ago. But I had to do a prototype, and I really love doing that.
Yeah.
So that's my favourite at the moment. I'm loving this. I've got so many layers on it, and I started to pick out all your wonderful white dresses. And I'm just using two colours. I'm just using vintage photo on the black, and I'm just picking it out and then picking these out. And I'll put it that way just to show you that there's lots of different layers on it.
It's lovely. Hang on, I'm going to bring you up to the big camera. Just bear with me because I've got my hand in the way.
No problem.
So, right, everyone, close. If you don't like the spinning, just close your eyes for a second. There we go. Because for whatever reason, you spin into shot, which is really odd. If you just lift that up a little bit, though, as in away from you, sorry. That's lovely. Perfect. We can see that. That is gorgeous.
Mine's a fixed camera, so it at the moment the autofocus is off, so it gets a bit jumpy. But I can just show you the layers there, and there's lots of layers. And then I've built it up, and I've got the lace in the background. I've got the dress pattern on the top. I've got these. So really, that's really simple to do. And what I'm doing is bringing out this part by darkening the part underneath, and I think that gives you a little bit of depth. Then it gives you a bit more sort of punch to it. The only problem is you've got to be a bit careful when you're doing this, because if you're using black, you can use it in progression. Don't just slap it on, because if it's like me, it'll go dark.
Yeah, black's one of those things, it can look absolutely amazing, but it takes just seconds to go that little bit too far, doesn't it?
Yeah.
With the black.
So what's yours, Luke? What's yours?
Probably that, what I did last night, to be honest, the journal cover. I think it ended up being much better than I thought it would be. I love a surprise like that. When I had it in mind, I thought, I really don't know where I'm going to go with this. It will be okay, hopefully. And yeah, I'm really pleased with it. And I've actually used it was all using textures again. So a lot of textures for you today. It was all using that.
Do you think it's because you didn't put pressure on yourself? I do.
I think so. I think if I don't worry about it and don't prep too much, I think that's where the better projects end up coming out.
So that's the rule of my life, because I plan it to the end, and then it don't work. And if I don't plan it and I have a general idea and it works out miles better, then, because I'm not putting that pressure on myself to perform in a certain way. And it's like someone replicating your card or your piece of work. You know, if they don't get it perfect, they want to bin it. Why? It's yours. It can't be the same.
Of course
it's
not.
Yours. You know, and I think sometimes people get a bit obsessed by that it's got to look the same when it hasn't.
No, never.
We all write, but we all write in different ways, don't we?
Absolutely. A lot of us use inspiration sites, which is absolutely. I mean, I use them every day. But I don't believe in copying. So no. I am. Here's a little sneak peek, just for those of you watching and for Lou. I'm actually developing very slowly a kind of a mojo book where you can sort of pick a colour scheme, pick a sketch and things like that, and build something to work on to try and help sort of bust your mojo blocker. It's you know when you get stuck, and rather than copying someone, you're still doing your own work, but it's just giving you some little hints and tips for getting out of that slump.
That is fantastic. What made you come up with that?
I think it was
an idea that
so many people saying to me, I've lost my mojo, and
Right.
I would always say to them, well, just pick 2 or 3 colours, or just pick one product and say,
Yeah.
right, I'm going to use that, or that sort of thing. And I thought, well,
Yeah.
I'm going to put it into a print. Oops, I've just dropped my glue gun. Bear with me, because I do not want that sitting on the floor. And I just thought, well, if there's something people can print off at home
Yeah.
and use, it's just hopefully help people get back into crafting, because the last thing I'd want for anyone is to lose their mojo for a little while and then never get back into it, because
I've seen that people saying I'm giving up.
just think I can't do it. I think everyone can. It's just
Absolutely.
So
at the moment it's been very lonely. Although crafting has saved a lot of people, including myself, and and I mean that in a good way, not just a sort of psychological way, but it saved me sort of going around the bend, being bored and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also very lonely, and we've needed these wonderful groups and things, and inspiration ideas, because otherwise we're just sat there 24/7 on that. Well, we were, and it's taught us a lot about how much we need each other, and how much we need inspiration, and how much we get from each other without even realising that
Absolutely.
we've got getting it.
Definitely. I think crafting is so good for people in so many different ways.
Absolutely.
I don't know if
I think it's made people aware, especially educationally, because art and crafts were getting sort of pushed down the sort of importance in schools.
Yeah, it's not considered as important as other things,
No.
is it? And I think it certainly
No,
can
it's
be. I
not
mean, it's
cool
my whole
anymore.
career. What if I'd have been told at sort of 16 when I was taking my A-levels, choosing my A-levels, oh no, you don't want to do arts and crafts. They won't get you
Well,
anywhere.
I was told that, and even at school when I was working as a teacher, people were saying to staff, honestly and truthfully, well, you really want to go for something that is, you're likely to get a better job with. And I was so annoyed, because, if you're telling students that, then they're going to believe you. And there's so many jobs available in art and design. But just because, people rely heavily on maths, English and science. I love maths, English and science only when it's attached to art. If it's about art, then I love it. If it's not, forget it.
Oh, absolutely. Like your percentages you were talking about.
Adding how much you spent and stuff like that. I can do it then.
Oh yeah, how much you spent, how much you've saved is more important.
Well, yeah. Actually, I haven't been buying much recently, because I think I'm at the moment I'm using what I've got.
Yeah, I've been very similar actually. A lot lately.
I just think I've got that much stuff that I've not even looked at, and I don't know if anyone else has ever done this, but I've opened drawers, got stuff out, and there's a bag in it, and you're like, what's in that bag? And I've opened it up, and there's products in the bag. And
I've still got. So I went to Ali Pali. Was it Ali Pali? No, it wasn't. Where did I go? I can't remember. It was London. I can't remember where it was. It was a show. It was a craft show. It wasn't a very big one. A couple of years ago, and I purchased from Anne-Marie Designs some beautiful MDF. Absolutely stunning. There was a big
I know that lady. Yeah, I know what you mean.
There's a beautiful cart wheel, like a wheel. MDF wheel, about 12 inches by 12 inches. There was a beautiful window. I got that. They were all very intricate, very fine. Laser cut MDF, absolutely stunning. I bought all that, and I bought some flowers from her, and I bought some different paints and gessos and things from other stalls. And I found the bag in my shed about 3 weeks ago.
No.
And I don't know how it got in there, because that's where I store all of my things. So if I've done a show, a random one-off show for a company, and I don't think I'm ever going to use the samples again, the things I've made, I box them up and I put them in the shed, and somehow that carrier bag got in there. I'd completely forgotten about it, hadn't even looked for it, which is really sad, because they are beautiful. So now I've got them out, and it'll probably be another few years before I get to use them. But the intention.
That's the point in it. We sort of put them in a box and we don't see it. And I'm often thinking, is it the power of me just buying and stuff that makes it interesting for me? But
no, I think we have every intention.
Having a basket and a bag is doing away with that. I would just think, it must be that I must be into. But I've found things that I thought, wow.
Yeah. Just going back to the comments. Let me just see. Okay, so Marie has said, well, let me just say, ladies, that the two of you, along with several other Craft Stash folks, have been really inspirational to me. So thank you. You are awesome. That's lovely, Marie. Thank you so much for comments like that. Just make my day. They really do.
Yeah, they do.
And Beverly has said she's been watching but not commenting, but these are so different. She loves them both.
Thank you.
And Emma Stratford. She says, at 16, she was banned from doing art A-level by her parents in the early 80s. Her teacher found her a scholarship programme, but the parents refused permission to live away from home. Oh, that's so sad. They said, what's the use of an art degree? It won't get you a proper job. She wishes she'd been a rebellious child and tried to follow her dreams back then. It's never too late. That's all I'm going to say.
I did mine at 30.
So, there you go. See?
I went back. Don't even think about thinking I went back. And I tell you what, I was better for it because I was ready to do it. When I was younger, I probably wouldn't have done it as well. And I did. And I'll be honest with you, I've always been a great believer that we put in a ridiculous, this is just personal, probably shouldn't say it, but I am.
No, go on.
A ridiculous amount of pressure on young adults and teenagers to make choices for the rest of their life, which is incredibly difficult.
Yep, at 16.
Really, you don't know what they want to do.
I would give my right arm to go back and do my school again, because I would do so much more. I'd concentrate on it more. I did the things I wanted to do, but I'd take more in, absorb more, because I'd want to be there. Does that make sense?
That's the whole point. I did it, and I did the degree better, and I did all the rest of the qualifications better because I wanted to do it, and plus I needed to have a focus, which was to get to teaching and then past teaching and whatever you have to do, because you have to do other stuff when you're teaching. You have to sort of progress and do your MA and stuff and your post-grad stuff, and it was really worth it then. But when I was young, putting the pressure on you, and I said even now, I still really believe, hand on heart, we shouldn't be doing that to teenagers.
No. We
should be, I personally think we should give them a little bit of freedom and then let them choose it a bit later on when they're ready to choose. But it doesn't always work like that. I mean, it's A-levels day today.
It is A-levels day, so and it's GCSEs on Thursday, so my daughter's getting her results on Thursday.
It's the Thursday. I always used to, the last Thursday in the month of August, and it was like that always reminded us, right, back to work, because it was like results day.
Yeah.
And then A-levels first, then results after that, and it was like the end of your holidays then. That and the Crow Crosby's in my garden. they grow.
That reminds you that it's back to work.
I'm glad to see that they're taking teachers' grades again.
Oh.
Because that's really important. For instance, we all know students that maybe on the day or on that time can't do stuff. Well, you know that very well.
Yeah.
And the knowledge of the teacher is really important to sort of say, no, well, I know what this young person can do, and I think that they could get that, and they've got it, and I'm really pleased about that because that's important. We used to do the estimated grades just in case, something happened.
You never know. You never know. Well, yeah. So my daughter will be getting her teacher. What's it? Teacher grades. Teacher something grades.
Yeah. Well, we used to call. Well, we had them. They were estimated grades as teacher estimated grades. But yeah, I think that's a really nice idea because, you know.
Yes.
I remember the bright. There was a really bright student. I'm not saying who, but couldn't do exams.
No, so my daughter's the same. She was poorly end of last year, really poorly, and she couldn't sit an exam. She couldn't sit in a room for that long, still concentrating. She'd be really poorly. So I am very grateful that they've chosen to take this route for personal reasons, but I think for everyone, it's going to benefit them this year.
Yeah. And you know, your brightest of child or student, whatever, they can have an aversion to exams. I remember the one person talking about passed out in front of me.
Oh, was that an anxiety thing then?
Well, it was in the 80s, so they put it down to just fainting. But you know, in this day and age, there would have been something for it like anxiety. But that was it. She'd lost it, and she was such a bright student, and she went away with nothing, and yet she was one of the brightest students in school.
Oh.
And I think that's a difficult thing to do. That.
Yeah.
You know.
It is.
And the parents really sort of pushed her to it. But I am loving mine. I've changed it slightly. I've put the So Special on it, and I love the button. I like this.
It's gorgeous. I really like the colours that you've chosen as well, Lou. I think they're really different. We should be wrapping up, shouldn't we? It's 4:10. I'm nearly finished. I'm just trying to decide where to put my sentiment. I don't.
Apologies to people, but it's like I'm sat in my room at home.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sat in my room at home, but you know, with my mates. I like that.
Just sat chatting, aren't we?
I've got some great followers, so.
Yeah, there's
friends, not followers, they're friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, do you know what? I'm gonna do it. Oh, am I gonna do it though?
When are you next at the craft store?
I am there on Saturday morning, nice and early, really early. I think I've got. On the 19th.
I
think I've just got this, and then we've got the lovely Pauline Hickey is going to be in a couple of weeks, and then
she's lovely.
Yeah, she's lovely. And then I'm not sure when I'm back. I think I've just got this Saturday, and that'll be me done. I've just popped it there. I'm not sure whether that's. You can't see that, can you, Lou?
Wow, that's beautiful.
Can you see it? Can you see? I will show you. I'll show you in a minute properly. Yeah. So Lynn Hodson has said that she loves the paintbrush highlighting that you're doing.
Oh,
it is really pretty.
Very, very easy to do and very simple to do. Just as long, sorry, the light's shining on it, but as long as you've got the colours that you're using, it's so easy to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, I think we need to wrap up in a minute.
I know.
I'm just checking the comments to make sure I've not missed anything really important.
This is like being at home. I've got to shut the curtains. Apologies. Now it's not even remotely sunny, and yet today it's like, oh right, they're all out cutting lawns. The next minute the sun's come out. It's like everybody's what's that word? Plotting against me.
Plotting against you, do you think?
Yeah, plotting against me, cutting the lawns, light shining in there, but I am very happy with that actually.
That is gorgeous.
The most important thing is not only am I happy, I'm really chilled.
You're really chilled. You're nice and chilled out, relaxed for the rest of the evening.
I am. I've got to clean my mess up because I've just been flicking stuff everywhere. But I am going to put that up. I really would like to do a stitching one of these.
Oh, definitely. I'd love to see that if and when you do,
Especially
if you get
this.
time.
I think it looks so cool in this because of this ring. I think it's beautiful. Well, I have loved it, and I really, really hope that you invite me to do it again. I really do.
Of course, we absolutely will. As Lou's just got the camera down, we'll have to ask her to give us a wave goodbye, just hands, sadly. But go and have a rest now. You've had a busy few days.
Oh no, I can't do. Hang on. 1 minute. You ready?
There she is. Thank you so much for joining me, Lou, and thank you for playing with the Textures products. I love what you've
Love
made.
them.
It's so
Love
pretty.
them. And thanks to everybody for everything, and I do appreciate, your time and effort, but it's lovely being here. Thank you for watching me. And thanks,
You're
Lou.
more
We
than
appreciate
welcome, and we'll definitely have you back very soon.
it. Thank you.
I will pop over to my view now, and we'll see you soon, Lou. She's waving away. She's waving away. So there we go. You can kind of see it. It's 3-dimensional frame with the camera in. I'm still undecided about this bit. I may well change that, but I've got the photo strips coming out. But it's pretty cool. I really enjoyed playing. I got really messy, and I've wiped my hands. You've probably seen I've wiped my hands like 10 times, and they're just still not clean. So yes, so next week should be the lovely Marta and myself. We've seen loads of great suggestions. I will go read through everyone's suggestions, but I think we're looking at maybe some masculine projects, so that'll be interesting to do with her. We'll keep you up to date. If you keep an eye on the social pages, you'll be getting things like the event come up that you can sign up to remind you that we're on at 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock on a Tuesday. I'm back live on Craft Stash Live on Friday at 12:30 with Helen Griffin. So thank you so much for joining us both on Facebook and on YouTube, and we'll see you again very soon. So take